What's up you guys, you're watching Sergio. Before I get started with today's video, I do videos on contemporary and designer fashion, so if that interests you, go ahead and subscribe so you can miss any one of my uploads. And today's video is going to be a designer bag trends or bag trends in general that's going to be popular for the spring and summer, and for the most part particularly in the fall and the winter. You guys know I like to break up my content into two segments for the year: fall and winter and spring and summer. So now that it's, we're going into March, I definitely want to go ahead and kind of start kind of like the spring and summer to kind of kick it off. Even though it is a little chilly here in Houston, I'm wearing a little gay poncho from Burberry. I have this little cashmere top, and I'll make sure to leave this link down below, honeys, if you guys are interested in. But let's go ahead and get started with the handbag trends of the year. First trend, which is not going to be any surprises, are going to be more baguette styles and more mini bags. So I have this SYL bag from Brendan Blackwood that actually has little pony hair, and it kind of gives me the Chick-fil-A fantasy. I used to work at Chick-fil-A, that was my first job. It's a little cute baguette. I love the color black and white, so I feel like this one was really cute. And it has, leather detail and everything. I have this Capone one, which is a brand from Denmark, I believe. I could be wrong. I have these ones right here. You guys see I have my YSL 57 bag. I have my Bottega Veneta Jody, my Prada nylon reissue. So as you can see, these bags have always kind of been popular, but I find that even more and more brands are starting to come out with these smaller handbags. And I feel like the reason is because, first of all, I find that people, ever since 2020, people have been carrying a little bit more smaller bags. I feel like big bags, it's either you want smaller bags or big bags. I feel like kind of that in between, I notice that's kind of phasing out just like a little bit. People just want kind of like the bare minimum or a little bit more than the bare minimum. But also there's been a lot of price increases within designer brands. So a lot of more designer brands and contemporary brands have been starting to put out more smaller bags, just because it's a little bit more economically better to purchase maybe a smaller bag than a bigger bag. So those are some of the reasons why the smaller bag trend has been a little bit more popular within these last few years, and I think it's just going to keep on going bigger and bigger. And honestly, these are the perfect, brunch bags, to the mall bags, running all your errands, especially if if you don't carry a whole lot. You can fit absolutely everything you want in these type of style handbags. And so for me, they've been kind of popular the last few seasons, but the small bags tend to be more popular also in the spring and summer. And the reason is, so like right now I have a poncho, or if I'm wearing a coat, sometimes with the material it's a little bit more hard to wear as a shoulder bag. It can be kind of like awkward if you're wearing this bigger coat and you have a small bag. It may not look proportional. So I always see brands always put out especially a little bit more smaller bags in the spring and the summer season. So that is going to be trend number one. Trend number two are going to be fabric and raffia bags, and I think this is also going to be a full force, and this is also going to be something you'll be seeing a lot more. And the reason is because we are going to go in spring and summer. These are always popular, but a lot of brands have been doing a lot of price increases. And if you do want to get introduced with the brand, you may not have $2,700 to shell on a Louis Vuitton puzzle bag, but you may have a couple $100s to buy a Louis Vuitton basket bag, and you kind of get that brand recognition. You have a beautiful handbag that's well made, but it's leather versus a raffia material, or more kind of like a linen-y fabric material. So you're going to be seeing those pushed in a lot more within the designer category. Contemporary always does a raffia and fabric bags. I do have contemporary and designer in the sections. I would say if you are starting off with a raffia bag, I probably wouldn't recommend a designer version. My first one was a Louis Vuitton one in white, and I treated it very awfully, and I didn't pack it well, and so it got destroyed, and so I ended up getting rid of it. But after you kind of get used to the raffia bags, I feel like you can graduate more into the designer, just because so you can know how to wear and tear the bag and make sure it lasts a little bit longer. As far as more fabric bags, I feel like you could either go either or. Some of my favorite basket bags are going to be the Louis Vuitton basket bag, the Chloe basket bags, and for the designer, I definitely love my Saint Laurent tote right here, and then the Chloe Woody tote is another great designer alternative. But raffia totes and fabric bags are going to be really big in the spring and the summer, and we're going to keep seeing more and more of those handbag styles being brought out. And I was looking at the Nordstrom website and Bloomingdale's website, and a lot of brands are coming out with their version of raffia bags, which I didn't see them come out in previous years. Another trend of handbags that I'm going to be seeing quite a lot, guys, are going to be anything with laser cut details. So when you think of laser cut in designer handbags, I usually think of Alaya. So here's Alaya, but we usually see laser cut handbags, or kind of like handbags with that type of embroidery. So for example, I have a pair of Alaya sandals just right here laying around because I don't have an Alaya handbag. But you kind of see this laser cut detail. As you can see, this beautiful detail is very summery, it's very spring, and Alaya incorporates this in a lot of handbags, but I've also noticed that they've been incorporating it in a lot of more contemporary brands and a lot more designer. I feel like it kind of gives it, since it's open a little bit, it kind of gives it that summer look. So I'm going to be recommending in the designer category Alaya handbag, and then in the contemporary I'm going to be recommending this Tory Burch Fleming flat bag, and they have this in multitude of colors, and I love laser cut. I think it's so much fun for the spring and summer, and for the most part laser cut is very classy looking. I like that it's kind of like, it's a trend, but it's like very sophisticated. I feel like a kind of like a laser cut style handbag always gets popular in the spring and summer, but I'm definitely gonna see this one peak a little bit more. Also because Alaya is kind of one of those brands that we're gonna be seeing a little bit more within the next few seasons, and I feel like it's gonna have its popularity kind of like Mugler and some of the other brands that are more kind of Parisian style brands. You're going to be seeing those a little bit more out there. So Alaya, I feel like will be on the come up within the next few seasons, and I've been seeing already department stores buying into Alaya. I remember when I worked at Nordstrom, we were kind of exiting Alaya, and now you can go on the Nordstrom website and there's so much Alaya, and same for other websites. Now, a lot of brands kind of just stopped carrying Alaya out of nowhere, or would significantly decrease their inventory, and now I'm starting to see Alaya get carried a little bit more on online websites, so that's a good indicator. And I've been seeing Alaya's handbags be spoken a little bit more than they ever were, and so Alaya's gonna be a forefront. But as far as laser cut bags, a lot of brands do them, but I'm gonna recommend Tory Burch for the contemporary and Alaya for the designer version. The fourth trend is going to be anything with crystals. So for crystal bags, I find that crystal and like sequinies and like shiny bags, I feel like all those are going to be very popular, and we all know kind of like the bag that kind of started it, the Prada crystal bag, which is this one right here. And the reason why it's just been so, it's such a it bag. It's a great price point. It's still, I believe, under that $2,000 point by the time I'm filming that video compared to other designer handbag brands. And I remember it was so sought after when it first came out, and you can still find it. I was at Saks the other day and I saw that the Prada boutique had it in the purple. I was kind of like, I went to go pick up something and I kind of like saw that they had it in like their stock room. And so the crystal bag is going to keep on going strong, and that's going to be my designer pick. And then my contemporary pick is going to be this Cult Gaia style handbag. And I'm going to be honest, when I first saw Cult Gaia become popular with that kind of like that wooden bag a few years ago, I thought they were really going to be a one-hit wonder, but I was actually shocked. Cult Gaia has become way more popular. I have another Cult Gaia clutch in my collection, and I love Cult Gaia bags. I think they make really great quality items. But the crystal bags, the kind of like, I wouldn't even call them going out bags, like an evening wear bags. They're more like during the day. I see people wear crystal bags like the Alexander Wang one, or some of the other brands that you've been seeing. I've been seeing crystal bags just out and about, just in daily casual wear. And I think this also has to do with like 2020, 2021, a lot of brands and a lot of people just in general were more at home. They were wearing more athleisure wear, and they kind of want to kind of incorporate something a little bit different than, you know, just your kind of basic athleisure wear handbag. So you want to have maybe something a little bit of fun, and I think that's what life is all about. You know, if you want to have fun, if a crystal bag makes you happy, you know, you don't have to wear it necessarily for evening wear. You can definitely wear it during the day, during night, whenever, wherever you want to. And especially the smaller that is, I think the better that it is. But crystal, embellish, anything that has a shiny, that makes a statement like shininess like that, you're definitely going to see it pop up a lot more. So I'm always going to recommend crystal bags and shiny bags. You're going to be seeing them for the rest of the year. Next trend that you're going to be seeing is more quiet or lesser known brands. So you're going to be seeing people wear more, I feel like there's the handbag category are kind of very separating. I find that in between is kind of like, it's kind of separating. I can see it. So you're going to be seeing a lot more people appreciate more quality handbag styles and lesser known brands than your typical Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Tory Burch, Kate Spade, Marc Jacobs, Givenchy. You're gonna be seeing more people reach within brands maybe that are a little bit more online, maybe with materials that are a little bit more sustainable, at price points that differ, or you know, you're gonna be seeing a lot more of that. And I find that, especially during this channel, you're definitely gonna see me talk about a lot more brands that I've never even talked about. Baby, Sergio's Secret is back, and there's so many brands. There's actually 2 new brands that are on the way that I've never talked about on my channel, and I'm very, very excited excited to talk about them. But you're going to be seeing brands that, you know, maybe they do have a little bit of logo, but they're not brands that you necessarily see or maybe see in the US market. So be prepared to be seeing, you know, walking down the street and hearing a brand that you're not familiar with. Here in Houston, I've been noticing that, and in Dallas, I've been seeing more brands that aren't even have points of distribution here in Texas or just in the States, and you're starting to kind of see it pop up a little bit more. So be prepared to see that a little bit more. So lesser known brands, a little bit more quiet brands, not quiet in a sense where they don't have like a lot of branding on them, just quiet brands that you don't really see get talked a lot about, or brands that you don't, you know, that are just not known as much. The trend that you're going to be seeing is a lot of people pulling out from designer handbag brands. And let me go ahead and kind of explain this. So I think with the recent Louis Vuitton price increase, with the recent Chanel price increase that's expected to happen next month, or I think later this month, I'm not really sure, we're gonna be seeing a lot more people pull out of the designer brands and really realize, am I really spending $5,000 on a bag when I can buy this instead? I can put this in that. I can do all these different things in it. So you're gonna be seeing a lot more people kind of wake up and seeing that a lot of these designer bags are not worth the money, or maybe are kind of rethinking or kind of reprocessing, you know, their mindset when it comes to buying bags. And that's why you're gonna be, it goes back to like number 5, you're gonna be seeing a lot more lesser known brands, or brands that don't necessarily have like a lot of presence here in the US. It's because I feel like a lot of people are pulling out from those big name brands and they want to venture off and find other alternatives, or just maybe something that is better to them, to their lifestyle. So be prepared for not seeing a whole lot of the mega brands to be out there this year. Like I said, we're going to be seeing a lot more different brands and a lot more variety, which I think is really great. I love to see different handbags. I think there's something that I appreciate when I see a handbag brand, especially that I don't see here a lot in the US market. Number 7 is going to be bucket bags. I feel like bucket bags have always been in. It's always a style that many brands carry, but I find that especially this year, especially with Tory Burch, I've been seeing that she's been doing a lot more kind of smaller bucket bag styles, not necessarily big. When I think of big bucket bag styles, I think of the Louis Vuitton Noé, or like growing up, like those really big Dooney and Burke bucket bags. I think of those bags, but I feel like we're gonna be incorporating the bucket bag in more of a smaller and not necessarily in a big way. Because you know, when you have a bucket bag, the base of it is very chunky and very big, and so when you have it, you know, sometimes the base is a little bit too much. So you're gonna be seeing bucket bags that have crossbody straps, that have shoulder bags, that you can change the strap on it, that has more alternatives on it. You're gonna be seeing more of the 2.0 updated of the bucket bag, not necessarily your traditional growing up bucket bags that I remember my mom had, you know, all those traditional bucket bags growing up, especially Coach was really big into that. You're gonna be seeing the bucket bag introduced in more of a fresh 2022 version, and especially with a lot more options and a lot more versatility in the bucket bags, and I'm very excited to see. And I think for the contemporary space, I think that Tory Burch is definitely the forefront when I see bucket bags in the contemporary space. Number 8 is going to be chain detail bags, and we've been seeing this with many brands like the Prada nylon reissue, the one with the longer strap, how it has the chain throughout it. Stella McCartney has like a lot of bags that have strap to the bag, and then there's like another chain around it. I know By Far has like little chains throughout their bags. You're gonna be seeing that, and the reason is because the customer and the client really wants variety in their lifestyle. They want to wear things more than one way, and so you're gonna be seeing more chain details in bags that are either attachable or detachable, maybe a little bit more that are detachable, so you can kind of play around with how you want to style the bag. But I have been noting a lot more brands have been just adding more straps and chains, and remove or not remove, just to kind of give the client just a little bit more of a different alternative than to wear items. And like, I think the Louis Vuitton multi-pochette and the Prada 2005 reissue, I think that's what really started that kind of trend 2 years ago. But now you're starting to see that incorporated into more of all the other brands. So you're gonna be seeing a lot more chain details throughout a lot of the contemporary and the designer handbags that are out. Style bags you're gonna be seeing. Another thing you're gonna be seeing in handbag in this trend is going to be a lot of Jacquard. So Tory Burch introduced her T monogram, I believe, last year or 2 years ago. I think last year. This like spring last year, she introduced the T monogram. and you've been seeing kind of like these kind of like 2000-y prints of monogram come back. I know Coach is starting to do a little bit more monogram, but more in a fabric way versus a coated canvas. Weber just kind of had a little bit of monogram, but it's always been more coated canvas. You're gonna see more of a fabric style. So I've seen Saint Laurent do it, I've seen Tory Burch do it, I've seen so many of the other brands. Kate Spade has also been doing it, where you see kind of like more fabric style, not necessarily coated, the Jacquard prints throughout the entire bags. And I think it kind of plays along with the early 2000s. Whenever growing up, you know, my mom would have like the Jacquard prints in Coach bags and some of the other brands that were popular back then. Oh, I remember Guess was another one that was really popular back then that my mom had. And like those Michael Kors Jacquard prints, I haven't seen them come out with like canvasy bags like this, because I feel early 2010 to 2015 and 16, I feel like they kind of overdid it. So I'm not sure if Michael Kors will participate kind of like in doing those type of bags. I know that he does still monogram coated canvas, not necessarily like an open just fabric material. But if you notice, a lot more brands are starting to do fabric, and it's because it's starting to put into that Y2K trend, and I hate to say that word, but you'll be seeing that print be introduced with a lot more brands. It started, you know, it's always been popular, you know, it's had its ups and its downs, but you're gonna be seeing a little bit more out and about. And Prada also has one, you know, Dior has their Jacquard print. You're gonna be seeing that a little bit more with all the brands, because I find that brands are starting to kind of get out of their aesthetics and trying to accommodate more than their one customer. They're trying to sell you a handbag for your child, for yourself, for your parent. They're trying to kind of accommodate that for all types of shapes and sizes, because there's a lot of competition out there in handbags nowadays. All these brands are competing for your dollars, so you're going to be seeing a lot of brands that make a lot of prints. And also Loewe has been doing a lot of Jacquard prints as well. Last handbag trends, guys, that we're going to be seeing today is going to be big leather bags. And we're not talking about like a Celine luggage. We're not going to be talking about a Givenchy Antigona. We're not talking about even canvas bags. We're seeing big leather slouchy bags. I know Valentino has it in the past. The Rose, infamous for making big slouchy buttery soft bags. Yellow Cucinelli, we see those in those kind of more exclusive, kind of like super refined brands. They do those very big slouchy buttery soft leather bags. Huge. I have no structure. You're going to be seeing that one a little bit more in all spaces. I find that this is going to be a trend that you'll see in spring and summer, especially more in kind of like suede materials, lighter suedes. Bottega Veneta, think about that brand as well. You're going to be seeing that a lot, and I feel like this trend is going to pick up very, very well in the next fall and winter. So you're going to see a preview of this within brand in the winter later this year in 2022. You're going to be seeing this incorporated a lot more. So if you want to be ahead of the trend, I feel like out of all the ones you know, they're all common, we've all kind of seen them, you kind of saw me explain to them, but I think the big slouchy like Fendi Spy Bag, like think of those type of bags. Bottega Veneta Jody, or like the Jody type style bags that doesn't have the knot on the pre-love market. Those are gonna be bags you're gonna be seeing now, but they're gonna be even bigger in the fall and the winter. So if you do want to go ahead and start with that trend and maybe skip on some of these trends up on top, slouchy leather trend, I think you'll be definitely ahead of the crowd if you go ahead and start kind of picking these trends up, because they're gonna be very hot and very big in winter. Even at all these fashion shows, you've been seeing big slouchy bags, and so by the time they get all their deliveries for the fall and the winter, you'll be already ahead and have a beautiful nice leather slouchy bag that you can buy on the pre-love market. Guys, there's going to be the top 10 handbag trends that I see happening for the next foreseeable future for the spring and summer, and most of these will carry on to the fall and the winter of 2022. I would love to hear your thoughts and your opinions on it, guys. Do you agree with some of them? Do you not agree with some of them? Do you feel like I missed any out? And let me know what trends have you been participating in, because I would love to find out. And I want to say thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I love and I appreciate all the love and support that I always get from you guys. You guys have no idea how much it means to me. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye, guys, and take care.